Good night, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I am your girl, the one and only Kiki Chronicles Spiritual Empress. My segments are called Kiki's Thoughts. And before I get into my thought, I would like to give thanks to the Creator, the Holy Spirit, the angels, the ancestors. Give thanks to the universe, the Galactic Federation, and everybody in the ethers, which is the 5D plane. So let's jump into this thought. I heard the coolest thing, right? And I wanted to share it with you guys. Truth be told, right? And I really came into terms and agreement with this statement I'm finna make is that healing doesn't mean that we have to erase our past. And with that being said, you know, we gotta understand, right? Yes, collective, we've been betrayed, we've been backstabbed, we've been talked about, we've been slandered, we've been scammed, we've been defamed, and, all that other evil stuff these karmics and so-called fake-ass friends, family, co-workers, so forth, so on, that took part in doing to us. Not saying that we weren't perfect, that we didn't uh, handle some shit when we had to, said some shit when we needed to, and spoke up when we should have. So basically, we've been standing on business regardless of the fact that we knew when to humble ourselves and not actually end up feeding into the nonsense that these karmics, narcissists want us to feed in so we can end up like them, bitter, full of malice, you know. Um, because they're full of envy, jealousy, greed, all the seven deadly sins and so much more. Not saying that no sin is greater than the next, because we all sin, we just sin in different ways, but it's all remains still a sin. And the difference between a lot of us and a collective and most of these people is that these people are straight, adulterated, evil, wicked, and they know it, and we know it. For the simple fact is that these people be plotting, planning, and scamming and doing all sorts of nasty, vile, diabolical, sinister shit towards people, especially God's people. These people like to mock, laugh, and feed off other people's energy, pains, and hurt. Narcissist supplies what they want and what they call it. And some of them not narcissists. They're just part of a cult, coven of cultures. They practice all kind of, evil practices. Not saying spirituality is a bad thing or a good thing. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual, okay? That's why I'm an empress and a divine feminine. And, I'm chosen by God. He chose me to be an earth angel, man. Go figure that shit. But it is what it is. And, I give thanks to the ancestors all the time. I do what I have to do. And I talk about God when the time is right. I don't force God on anybody. I don't force my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on anybody. I mean, it's people believe what they want to believe, because truth is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So, you know, that's that. And some people, like, they listen, they mock, they watch, they lurk, they gang stalk. Like I said before, they stalk and they talk. All they can do is talk, watch, lurk. Because it's really no sense of them trying to come apologize, trying to call themselves right in their wrongs, because it's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be honest. Because the truth is, if they betrayed you once, twice, three times, they will betray you again. And they're going to put more than 10 swords in your back, which most of them already have. That's why a lot of us or in our King of Swords and Queen of Swords energy towards people, places, and things now. And it's not saying that we're not healed from a lot of the heartbreak that we've been through. It's just that we are now well aware. And, if you know, you know of these entities, these demons, these zombies, these shapeshifters, these reptilians, these fake ass tarot readers, these karmic readers, these fake ass psychics, these dark high priestess, these dark ass practitioners that are greedy, just like these people. They do work on people and they practice abuse and divination all the time. They breaking all the cosmic laws, universal laws, spiritual laws. They're breaking all the laws. They break them on a daily basis. And the truth is, part of that is because they are not spiritually gifted anymore. If they did have some kind of gifts, they no longer have them. So of course they're teaming up and don't care if they have casualties in these battles and these wars that they are creating, the spiritual warfare, because they know, they ain't gonna run up on you. You know what I'm saying? They're not physically gonna run up on you. They be talking that shit about what wish they woulda, coulda, but they didn't. And they watch again and they lurk and they stalk because they're trying to see if they can get in where they fit in. Well, with me, they don't fit in nowhere because I don't fit in with them. And a lot of these people are the past. I'm going on to my future. I got things to do. Then waste my time arguing and fighting with people who I don't give a fuck about. Who I can care less about. I don't care what they doing, what they got going on, who they with, where they live, where they drive, what's happening to them, what's happening with them. All I know is they're receiving karma as they should. They have to pay their karmic debt just like I had to pay mine. Collective, we all got to pay karmic debt because, again, we're not perfect. And we may have done things, said things that we probably needed to say or shouldn't have said at the time. Because a lot of people will put you in some fucked up predicaments on purpose and some messed up situations and circumstances for their own self gain, for their own kicks. Narcissists love to have control and they like to use what they think they know about you to trigger you to get a reaction. That's how they feed. It's just like dealing with an abusive male or female. If you pay attention to somebody who like to argue, fight, and then jump in the bed with you, yeah, that's not, good. That's not a good thing to do. I mean, you can have your little fun role playing, but if you constantly see a pattern where somebody wants to argue, really get abusive, like physical, try to hurt you with words, violence, and then they want to call themselves laying in bed with you, that's something you need to think about because that is not, a good thing. That's not like love. Abuse is abuse. Psychological trauma is real. Trauma bonding is a real thing because we all have like some wounding. You know what I'm saying? You could think you could talk to a friend, a foe, an adversary about it. They gonna use their flying monkeys. They gonna tell everybody. But at the end of the day, it is what it is because if you honest, take accountability for your own life. You know what you've done. You know what you've been through. You know the decision choice you made. You honor that shit. And you're done with that shit. And you got to keep it moving. Just like grieving. Grieving don't have a time limit. It don't. Nobody can tell you how to grieve. Nobody can tell you how to feel when it comes to losing anybody. It don't matter who it is. If you're grieving them to this day, hey, my heart goes out to you because me, I'm still grieving in my own way over a lot of people I lost. And even the people that are living that I felt like I had to let go and release and put them in the Lord's hands because the way they made me feel, shit, if I put them in my hands, I'll get them what they want and end up locked up. You know what I'm saying? Probably not for a long time, but for a long time type shit. But anyway, y'all, just think about that kind of shit. When you heal from something, don't go back to what broke you. Don't allow these people to come back with their fake ass apologies. Don't allow them to use their flying monkeys to call themselves talking to you about how they feel, because if you feel that way, you feel that way. It should be nothing nobody can say to convince you but God Himself, Jesus Himself, your spirit to your soul. Try to talk to the Lord about it. And the one thing about it, if you wake up in the morning still feeling that way about these people, this person, whoever it may be, then that's the way you feel. Stick with it. Because a leopard don't change their spot just like a zebra don't change their stripes. These people are who they are, and that's probably who they gonna forever be. Now they can change if they choose or if they really want to. But, that's on them. They got free choice and will. Most people using their free choice and will to go against God's people. They want to go against the right thing to continue to doing the wrong thing, because one thing about it, two things for sure, these people need to be seen, heard, because they need validation all the time. And most people in the world, as far as I'm looking at, they feed off negativity and toxicity. Nobody wants to listen about God no more, positivity and stuff. But, they do have people that do. And those that do, you know, God bless them, because they're going to get somewhere. Changes will be made in their life. Prayer does changes things, and it give people hope. Just sharing your testimonies when people really want to change and they want to better themselves or their life, their families, bring back togetherness instead of dealing with people that are always causing division between people, then they're on the right track. God is pleased. I think God smiles, because we're already fighting against the governments and principalities. We don't need to be fighting against each other. And people who try their best to come between people, them the kind of people that, I really don't want to fuck with, that I choose not to deal with. You hear me? I can speak, hand by, but it's nothing I really want to associate myself with. You know what I'm saying? I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, I'm a sister, I'm a cousin, you know what I'm saying? It's all one and the same to me. Family is family. And some people are not family. We blood related because they're just relatives. That's personally for me, y'all. I don't feel like if you act like my family, if you don't act like my family, then hey, you're a relative. It's cool. Ain't nobody mad about it. It's just words, and people shouldn't get mad because that's the way I feel. That's the way I see it. It can change, and if people want to change that shit. So, and it's like, I don't know, collective people just be tripping out shit for no apparent reason. That's the devil. And by me, knowing, speaking firsthand, drugs is not the answer. It don't solve nothing. Because even if you high off whatever it is, once you sober up and open up your eyes, baby, the issue and the problems will still be there. And sometimes they're going to feel a lot worse. And truth be told, the devil will make them a lot worse so you can continue to get high and he can use you, do stupid, dumbass shit and do his bidding. So you can end up signing a blood oath or end up catching something, a transmitted disease, whether it's spiritual or physical, and go around infecting everybody, hurting everybody, causing confusion, chaos, and conflicts in people's lives, because the devil's job is to steal, kill, and destroy. So what are you out there doing? Are you going to be a part of the problem, or you going to become part of the solution? I see a lot of that on the internet, social media. People always fighting. You go out to have a good time. Back in my day, I mean, don't get it twisted. We had our fair share of fights and shit. That's true. But we didn't go out looking for no fight all the time. We didn't drink back then just to fight. You know what I'm saying? To start some shit. If somebody started with me and my people, hey, we finished. That's how it always went. And I'm still that way. It's just that I don't run the streets no more, collective. I'm sharing this with y'all to say that at my age and knowing how my life went and all the things I've done, the fun I had, even some of the not so good times, it taught me a lot of lessons of what I don't want, what I won't accept, and what I won't tolerate. From there, motherfucker, I don't care. It's my grandchildren. I will not accept disrespect because I don't go around disrespecting people, you know. And if you don't want the truth about nothing, don't come ask me shit. Don't come talk to me about shit. If I'm not in agreeing with your ass, then I just don't agree. You know, you can state all the opinions if you want, but you better have your facts. Do your fact check. That's a lot of people on the fact check, and that's why they is receiving karma right now. And the sad part is the people who participated with these people doing these rituals, paying for witchcraft, and just they're not saying nothing, getting karma too. Because you should be an honest person. If you know people out here hurting people and shit just for kicks, trying to use and abuse them, and you sitting by participating or egging them on or doing shit, you finna reap exactly what you sown to. Because if you a decent human being, woman or man, child, dog, cat, goldfish, that is something you should not be doing. And talk about you love the Lord and you love God's people and you one of God's people, you just don't do that shit. You don't participate in harming nobody and trying to destroy them and watch them be destroyed or ruined or hurt by somebody. That ain't just what you do. Some shit, no, we ain't got no business getting in, but shit, hey, non-violent, see a good fight, you better get in that shit and do your right thing. So, more respect to the men who don't sit around beating on women, trying to hurt women purposely, or just egg women and men to go on and fight and hurt each other to the point where somebody ends up losing one of their family members or their life for senseless, stupid shit. Because people be running their mouths saying stuff that they ain't got no business. So my thing is, if somebody come up to you with that, you heard what she said, he said about you and this and shit, tell them, just simply. I ain't got time for that shit. God bless you. And if they have something to say to me, they should be man or woman enough to come talk to me. They ain't got to talk behind my back. I'm a reasonable man or woman. We can talk about whatever, you know. You ain't got to always fight. And that's the problem with people. People be guilty of so much wrong. They want to fight you. They want to get mad at you for the shit that they said and done to you. Funny. That's funny to me. Like, they got to deal with that shit. Because at the end of the day, when you a good-hearted person, take it from me, collective, you ain't losing shit with people. They losing you. Believe me. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back row back there. You are not losing anything. They are losing you. Because when it comes to relationship, that nigga ain't shit. You feel like he ain't shit, and the bitch he with ain't gonna be shit either. Believe that shit. And if she like, oh, I took her man, I slept with her man, baby, guess what? They only did you a favor to show you exactly what kind of so-called boyish man, childish ass, immature, unstable, unhinged, nasty, who will lay down with a dog, a cat, anybody, vicious man or woman that you was dealing with. So they did you a favor. Now they gotta deal with all that diabolical, sinister, evil, nasty ass shit. You no longer have to deal with that shit. Tolerate that shit, accept that shit, put up with that shit, take care of that shit, be used by that shit, be abused by that motherfucker. None of that. You ain't gotta deal with it. You cool. You cool off that motherfucker. And they should be cool off you, which they don't be. They stalk, watch with their own fool that they sneaking on their phone, trying to listen to see what you talking about, going over text messages, trying to catch some shit, trying to blame you for their antics. Nah, my dude, my girl. Don't blame nobody for being who you are. Shit. Your bloodline just fucking fucked up and dysfunctional and just nasty and vicious. Y'all do witchcraft, candle magic. Accept that shit. We all got some kind of witches and warlocks and masons and shit in our families. Believe that shit. Hey, a lot of us are chosen. I know I was, because personally, y'all, I was so at the pink sheep of the family. What they call it, the black, I call it the pink. And I wasn't doing no tripping. After a while, after years and stuff went by, y'all, I just was like, you know what, God, you're gonna show me the way. You know, I place my children in your hand, my grandchildren, everything belongs to you. If I leave this earth today or tomorrow, I'll be glad to see my mom and my loved ones, my ancestors. For real, they'll be happy to see me. They watching over me anyway. They always with me. So I ain't doing no tripping. My heart pure. I ain't ever let my heart turn bitter, have no malice, no jealousy, envy towards anybody. I'm cool on it. I'm cool off that shit, man. I'm not letting nobody provoke me into being like them, turn me cold like them. I love people. I love life. I love, but hey, I'm light and dark, so you can get either one depending on how you come at me. I'm not a mean person at all. I'm not mean spirited. I just don't take no shit, and I speak with authority now, and I stand on what I feel. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Shit. If I'm right, I'm right. I don't know everything. I'm still learning, and I thank God for everything. I stay in the spirit of gratitude. It could be something as little as somebody, my grandchild, bringing me a piece of damn cotton candy. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for it. You know, and I'm teaching them that too. We working on it, you know. They still little, so. But I'm just like, Lord have mercy. I laugh because I'm like, whoever thought I'd be a damn grandmother at 49? But I am. And I love it. You know, I was a mother at 15 going on 16. So, hey, we a lot of young mothers out here. So, hey, I be laughing at people. I say I'm old enough to be somebody, big sister, great grandma, great great grandma now. Shit, it is what it is, man. Can't nobody pass judgment on nobody. Um, so anyway, y'all. If it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, pass it to who it may belong to. Hopefully, you guys can understand, get some clarity. You know, articulate what I mean all the time. I don't explain shit. I just let you know what it is. So either you gravitate to it or you don't. But at the end of the day, y'all be blessed. Y'all stay in the spirit of gratitude and things, and pray for your families. Pray for your children. Pray, period, man. It changes things. And don't let these people come back in your face with these fake ass apologies and this shenanigans facades because they watching and stalking and shit. And they feel some type of way because they're guilty. So, yeah, I'm out. I'm Kiki Chronicle Spiritual Empress to my next video. I'll holler at y'all.